On today's menu, we have my delicious flaky butter pie crust done my way. So let's get started. Today's recipe, I will be using my food processor and one chilled stick of salted butter and 1.5 extra pre-chopped chilled butter. Okay, the first thing we're going to add into our food processor is 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. That's one. And I am going to dig inside of this bag right here and get my second cup. Okay, that's two. And here is my half. Okay, so next we are going to continue to chop up our solid cold stick of salted butter. Now you want to make sure your butter is hard, okay? Because this is what this recipe has to have, is solid butter. So when you get to actually blending and mixing up the flour and the butter, that you get this flakiness. So you really want to chop it up really nice and then add to the bowl. And I had pre-chopped some butter earlier, which was a stick and a half. So this is basically 1.5 cups of chopped butter. Okay, next we are going to add our butter into our food processor. Okay, and look, see, that's how hard you want it to be. So I'm going to move a little bit of this butter evenly around. Next, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of granite sugar. Next, I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of salt. Next, I have 1/3 cup of chilled water. Now, I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of, this is mother vinegar, inside of my 1/3 cup of water. Okay, and we are going to use that later, so I'm going to set that aside until I am ready for it. Next, I am going to place my food processor top and lock it in, because we don't want to make a big mess. So I'm going to lock that in, and I am going to move this water over here, and I am going to be using the pulse button. Not low, not high, just the pulse button until my butter is actually being chopped. Now you must remember, I'm going to probably pulse about 7 times, and once I remove the top, I am going to check for the solid, stiff, cold butter. You want to look at it and see if you have big chunks of butter. So we're going to place that back into our food processor. We are going to continue to pulse maybe 7 more times just to get this butter down to the size of peas, the size of baby peas. And we're going to look inside, and let's look at that. I'm trying to show you guys. Okay, that's about right. I see maybe one more time. So it's okay. The butter is solid. It's not frozen, but it is chilled very hard. So we should have it now. So let's check and see. Okay, there you go. Look at that. Okay, looks like little baby peas. So okay, next we are going to add our vinegar chilled water, and we are going to add 1 tablespoons, which is enough for 2 pie crusts. And especially for the holidays, if you decide to make homemade crusts for your sweet potato pies. So we are going to put back on our processor top, lock it in, and we're going to pulse it as well. Maybe about a good 6-7 pulse, and then check to see if there's moist. See? Look at that. Now that's how you want it to look, where you can just squeeze. Okay, look at that. So I think that's it. So yeah, that's about right. It's still moist and forms up like you know, cornmeal, but it's actually flour. But look at it. And we are ready to begin to get ready to actually form our pie crust next. So I'm going to clean up my countertop so that you need a very clean area. I'm going to remove my processor bowl and set it aside. And on my clean counter surface, I am going to add about a half a cup of all-purpose flour. I'm shifting it around on my countertop as I go. And you really want to make sure you get enough of your flour, you know, shifted on that countertop. And I'm just shifting mine in a small shifter so that I can really work with the flour and the actual dough. So look at this, see? I know it looks crummy and you're thinking to yourself, is this really going to form? Yes, it is, because you have that chunk of butter. You still have chunks, small chunks of butter inside of your mix. So we're going to pour all that on top, set this bowl aside, and I am going to begin to protrude my flour and mix it all together. Okay, you really want to work this, and I know it's messy, but the reward of having your own homemade pie crust, I mean, to me, there is no other way. I don't prefer store-bought pie crusts. I love to taste the butter in my own pie crust, so it is just a wonderful skill to have, to be able to make your own delicious pie crust. Okay, it's got to be flaky. You want butter in it, and I'm telling you, it's going to be a delicious crust for our sweet potato pies. So as you can see, I'm protruding it, and you don't want to protrude it just too much. I got it. And next, this is about, I'm going to say about good 2 pie crusts. So I'm just going to add a little bit more of my shifted all-purpose flour. Okay, and it's just to have a little bit coated on top over it before I begin to actually cut it in half. So and next we are going to go ahead, I'm going to use my slicer, and we are going to slice it evenly in the middle. See, that's about right. That's about 2 nice size pie crusts. I'm sure there will be a little left over also. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoy this flaky butter pie crust that we are working on, and I am just smoothing it out, and I am going to use some plastic cellophane wrap, and we are going to wrap this and let this chill. Now you can let it chill for 30 to an hour, or if you want to make your pies tomorrow, you can leave it 24 hours in the refrigerator. Okay, and when you go to pull it out, you know, it'll be nice and solid and firm and good to go. See, now we're going to place that in the refrigerator. Okay, check back an hour. Okay, I have a clean countertop now, and I am going to add a half a cup of all-purpose flour, and next I am going to unwrap my chilled pie dough, and I have my rolling pin. Okay, you gotta have a rolling pin, and we are going to smooth out our pie crust, okay? I just add a little bit more light. So let's get that going, okay? So we're gonna roll this out with the pen. Now, it should just not give you any problems if you want to just roll it out gently, okay? You want to go back and forth, and you want to make sure that your pie dough is not sticking to your rolling pin, and you want to just smooth it on out. See, you just want to smooth it on out, and I will be folding this pie dough, and so maybe 4 times, just so that I can get a nice fluffy type of flaky pie crust. So, okay, you want to make sure you get that flour over on top. Don't be afraid, because you don't want your pie crust to stick to your pen. So that's 2, 3, 4. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to work that and put a little bit more flour down there. And I'm going to smooth it out. Okay. Now we are going to roll it. Now it's been folded 4 times, so it is going to turn out just the way I want it to. Okay. Put a little bit more flour on my pen, my rolling pin here, and we're going to work it. You gotta put some muscles in it, ladies. You gotta put some muscles in it. Look at that. I think this is some excellent pie dough crust, okay? And I also have an aluminum pie pan. I think it's 9-inch. So 9 or 8. I think it's 8. Maybe 8 inches. And we are going to finish this, and I'm just happy with it. So that's an 8. So that's the average size of pie crust aluminum pan. So I'm going to place it over here, and I'm wiping it out. Make sure there's no type of water. And next, I'm just going to take 2 fingers and just some Crisco shortening, and I'm just going to rub that around inside of my aluminum pan. If you have the Crisco spray, you can also use that, just as long as you use something to put inside of your aluminum pie pan. So we are going to fix it and kind of like evenly pull it around so that it fits just right inside. You may get a little tear here and there, but you can always just mend it back. Now, ladies, you could use, if you don't have aluminum, you can use your glass 9 or 8-inch pie crust pan, and I'm going to keep smoothing around the edges and the inner surface, and I am going to begin to just cut around. I'm not going to go up when I cut, just the excess dough. I'm going to pull that off around the side, and next I'm going to pull up and tuck, pull up and tuck, pull up and tuck underneath. You want to tuck it underneath, and you want to form your edges around your pie pan. So once we get it all, I'm actually putting my thumbprint in there, and I'm just moving it around and around until I complete it with my thumb. Okay, see how that looks? And that's close to being almost done. So now that you have your perfect flaky butter pie crust. Okay, ladies, even though I'm not demonstrating this at this point, take a fork and actually punch holes in the bottom surface of your pie crust, If you are going to prepare it in the next 5-10 minutes, place it in the oven and let bake for like 6 to 7 minutes so that it rise, and pour your pie crust batter inside of your crust and let bake for 30 to 40 minutes, and this is what you should have. Voila. And here you have it, my delicious sweet potato pie with that flaky butter pie crust. Don't forget to join me on my YouTube channel for other delicious recipes. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Just before the holidays, this would make a great recipe. Love is love. Until next time, smooches.